Being pushed into entrepreneurship is one of the greatest blessings in disguise that you can receive in this decade, within this next decade, even within the next 5 years. If you are being pushed accidentally into entrepreneurship, well, friend, congratulations, you're in good company. Even if you feel like you're at the bottom of the totem pole, you're doing a new startup, you're doing a new business, you're doing pitches, you're trying to get things off of the ground, you can't quite figure out how to make it work. Well, my friend, there is a language to entrepreneurship. There is a language to business. There's a language to marketing. There's a language to sales. And I'm happy to tell you about it. I am Tiffany Garside, founder of a retention marketing firm that has gotten clients over 31.9 million to date and counting, because we do something called automations. Now, these aren't your typical like, oh, I put my Google Calendar automate to this other link and then Google Sheets. And no, we're not talking about those automations. No, ma'am, no, sir. We are talking about money-making automations, like revenue-generating automations, like an automation that you set up for a company and then you go on and make them hundreds and thousands of dollars over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years until they come back and say to you, hey, can we set up the next automation, the next sales sequence, the next welcome sequence, the next re-engagement series? I'm going to break it down for you. And listen, I make complex products easier for you to trust and for you to buy. So if you're someone that has a business and you're like, my products are a little bit complex, you own a DNA firm, you have some type of consulting business where you're consulting education summer camps and you do chemistry boot camps, but you're trying to articulate why chemistry boot camps are important for high school children. If your product or service is complex, I'm your person to help you out and help you generate that revenue, okay? You know, I've been doing these VIP days. They're really VIP weeks. When I work with a business owner exclusively, I block out my entire week of my busy schedule, kick everything aside for one specific entrepreneur for an entire week, deep dive only on their business, auditing their marketing, their sales, their engineering, their HR processes, their operations to see, okay, where are the gaps? Where can you create more revenue? Where do you need to let these marketing people go? Where do you need to let these virtual assistants go and have more sophisticated marketing and sales? Because at the end of the day, what most new entrepreneurs under 5 years in business don't understand is without marketing and sales, you have no business. Without pipeline. Now, pipeline in the sales world is clients and contacts, prospects that are in a database. It could be a CRM like MailChimp, it could be ConvertKit, it could be ActiveCampaign, it could be MailerLite, it could be HubSpot, it could be Klaviyo, it could be Go High Level. Doesn't really matter which one, just the one that suits your business. We can talk on a one-to-one call to figure out which one is best for you. But you have these prospects, these people ready to buy from you in all seasons. This has nothing to do with social media. I want to make that clear. These are prospects that you are acquiring through LinkedIn pitches, through email marketing pitches. You are reaching out to people and saying, hey, I'm so-and-so. This is what I do. Would you like to schedule a call? Or, hey, I'm so-and-so. This is my newsletter that I have out. I think you should subscribe if you're interested in it. That's been a new strategy I've been using, and it's the best way to grow your email list without using a lot of those tools like ManyChat and some of these automations that don't really function well and just amass a lot of people, but don't really convert into buyers. See, this is the plague that's happening with entrepreneurs in 2026. People will schedule a call with me, education entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, and say, hey, I have these ManyChat automations. Hey, I have all these people commenting, but these people don't buy. I want you to understand one thing. Take your notebook out. Just one thing. Mass marketing works for low ticket products. When I say low ticket, under $100, some kind of hair cream, a lotion, that's okay for that. But mass marketing does not work for high ticket buyers. No high ticket buyer comes to you through mass marketing, not typically. A high ticket buyer psychology is totally opposite of somebody that's just like, oh, that hair care product is cute. Oh, I do need some extra honey, and you have specific wellness honey that I need. That's fabulous. High ticket buyers, when you get into the multiple hundreds, multiple thousands, tens of thousands, 20s and 30s, these buyers don't really care if they see you through an ad. How you're going to convert a high ticket buyer is organic content. This is why we preference and only do organic content, because we understand high ticket buyer psychology after being in business 10 years. A high ticket buyer is the affluent buyer who has the money, but they don't have the time. So these people are not even on social media all like that, hence why you have to pitch them and then bring them into your organic social media and send them your content, put them on your email list, include them in an opt-in, and then they will continue to watch it after they're already in the email inbox. If there is one thing that I could tell a new entrepreneur that will totally change the game, that I wish I would have done earlier, it's focus on email marketing. Everything else is noise. Every single other thing. Instagram is noise. YouTube can be noise. Everything else is noise because high ticket buyers make buying decisions in incubated, quiet, small spaces in the inbox. They don't want to be overly persuaded. They don't want to be overly marketed to. They're not in tune with trends. They really just don't care. Wealthier, richer, high ticket buyers, they care that they have a lot of money, but they don't have the time. But when they put that money out, they want it to be with someone who's actually going to get the job done efficiently, and they don't want to micromanage. They just want the job to get done. But the difficulty is, how do you position yourself in front of that buyer? This is what I teach my clients inside of my VIP days. We go over this, how to build your email list for the high ticket buyer, not for the low product buyer. Low products are good, and you may have heard sales funnels go low ticket, then high ticket, so you can have a downsell, low ticket, then an upsell, and you're hoping, fingers crossed, you're hoping that they're going to buy that high ticket offer after they buy the low ticket. You need to read your data. It's good to have marketing frameworks and philosophies. I love marketing philosophies. Come on. I know ADAS, PAS, all of them. Problem, agitate, solution is PAS, okay? But frameworks and methodologies come second to data and analytics, okay? I know it's uncomfortable. Frameworks come second to data and analytics, because if my data in my business from my last 10 clients, from who's engaging with me, from who's opening emails, tells me that people are interested in a specific topic, or that people have a specific buying pattern of doing upsells then downsells instead of down then up, then this philosophy doesn't matter to me as much. According to my data, something different is happening. This is where you get into the more sophisticated side of marketing, the side that I actually love. Like, I absolutely love marketing, I absolutely love business and entrepreneurship because of the data and analytics. Checking to see, okay, who are my most qualified leads, my most qualified SQLs, sales qualified leads, okay? Who are my people that are ready to buy? How do I find those people? How do I position myself? This is where messaging and copywriting comes into play, communication strategy, because the worst, absolute worst thing you can do in the age of AI, it's so sad. It literally just makes me so sad. It makes me sick to my stomach. It just makes me so sad. I'm going to tell you a story, okay? Because I wrote this story to my email list, but I'm going to recite it here so that you understand. I used to open emails from a business consultant that I used to like to follow for years. I've been subscribed to her email list for years. And I looked at my email inbox last week and I was like, oh, let me put so-and-so, let me see what they've been up to. I haven't seen any emails from them. I'm confused. They used to email me pretty consistently. I finally find their name and I see, oh, they've been emailing me like every other day. Okay, they're pretty consistent. But I don't open their emails. And I thought to myself, why am I not opening their emails? I didn't even know they were emailing me. Their copy is not of good quality. It's of a poor grade quality with ChatGPT. It'll say most people, then this, do this, double negatives. The writing quality is not the greatest that it should be when you're at a certain level in business. And so I didn't even open it. I didn't even remember that they were even a thing until it was like, wait, where is so-and-so? This could be your business right now, where somebody is like, where is X, Y, and Z? But because you have ChatGPT generated copy that you did not take the time to edit, like, hey, I used to work with chief editors. Now I'm the chief editor. And let me tell you something about us as chief editors. We will take a piece of copy. If you don't know how messaging works, workflows work, editing, writing, the creative process, let me bring you in. Let me bring you the scoop, okay? We will look at a piece of messaging, a sales page, an email, social media caption. My first thought is, where do I cross out the fluffiest content that sounds like ChatGPT? Where can we delete the stuff that does not need to be there, that just sounds too fluffy? This is why I get straight to the point, not only in my communications, with written writing, but also the way that I speak. I'm straight to the point because I despise fluffiness. Quite literally, I despise fluffiness, okay? Like, I want you to get straight to the point. Tell me the benefit, tell me the cost, tell me what it is, tell me what it ain't. That's how you should be writing your messaging if you want to book clients in 2026 and beyond. And so I was shocked. I was utterly shocked because I used to love opening those messages, and I felt sad for that entrepreneur. I felt really sad because this person's been in business. This is the fork in the road, the crossroads of when you reach a certain level in business, but the humility isn't there. With entrepreneurship, being 10 years in business, there's a level of, yes, I did this for 10 years, but there's also a level of humility of, let me still innovate and learn what's working today. Let me see what the market needs today. Let me see what clients need today to feel like they can trust me with XYZ product and service, especially if it's high ticket. That's why clients hire me, because they are also allergic to boring copy, boring messages, ChatGPT, most people XYZ. A lot of entrepreneurs just don't understand that we're seeing these same messages. You think because you put your data in ChatGPT that ChatGPT just made it specifically for you. And you're like, nobody else is using this messaging. Everybody in your industry is using that exact messaging, because the way that AIs work, I've been doing these tech contracts that have just really exposed AIs. Doesn't matter if it's Gemini, Claude, GPT, it really does not matter. The way AIs work, they scour the internet searching for information. Their top sources are typically Reddit, Instagram, YouTube, anything they can find, a blog article, anything like that, but Reddit is a big one. So if they find information and articulate things in a certain way, it's because they're finding it from Reddit. They're finding it from social media, and then they're spitting it out to you, entrepreneur, who's paying the monthly subscription, thinking you can have a $20 AI ChatGPT give you $1 million sales page. It just doesn't make sense, right? You want $1 million business, your $20 ChatGPT is not going to get you there, okay? ChatGPT and AI work for brainstorming, but once you brainstorm, you should be taking a pen and crossing that stuff out and saying, okay, how can I say this in a more creative, down-to-earth way? How can I say this in a way that makes people want to buy from me? Because the people who are going viral right now, even with their automations, they still have their email sequences written so creatively, okay? Because there's another entrepreneur that I'm thinking about. She's been in business for about 7 years, started a new business, and she had $1 million month. I think it was a $2 million month in June. Fabulous, okay? And I'm subscribed to her email list. And let me tell you, the difference between how her emails are written versus somebody that, most of the people in my inbox actually, that are like, most people make this mistake. Hers are written, you can tell it's her personality, like you talking to your neighbor down the street. The exaggerated whys, the exaggerated personality cuts, the language that sounds a little bit like slang, but not like slang, the parentheses where she's literally exclaiming her excitement. Let's bring humanity, please, for the love of everything righteous. Let's bring humanity back into marketing. We are selling to humans. We are not selling to robots yet. Unless you have a business where you're selling to robots, that's your business. I don't know. But if you are selling to humans, do the due diligence, do the creative due diligence, do the right thing. Write for humanity. Do not write for robots, because it comes across as being indifferent, as being someone that doesn't genuinely care about the people they're talking to. When you write to someone and you're like, well, they're just not smart enough to know that I'm using ChatGPT, that's not a good feeling for the people reading it. They may not unsubscribe, but there's a reason they're not buying. Because at the end of the day, if you think that you can skip out on communication, the most important skill set of all, more important than how you look, what your hair's like, what this is like, what you just bought, where you've been, how do you communicate and make other people feel? Do you make people feel seen, heard, and understood? Or do you make people feel like, that just sounds like everything else in my inbox. They don't even register it. I didn't register it that I didn't open her emails anymore. But when I looked back and looked for her, I was like, oh gosh, this sounds, I think it's a very sad thing to see. I think it's a sad thing to see in the age of AI. I think we as entrepreneurs should be doing better, because entrepreneurship is the act of service and caring for other humans to meet them where they are and see how we can fulfill their needs based on our product, based on our service, okay? This is the divide where you're going to see clients and businesses out there that are doing fabulous in the age of AI because they're retaining their humanity, which is quite literally a biblical standard to uphold. Let's remember that. And then the other entrepreneurs, they're like, well, y'all, I'm gonna just chat GPT you the message and you're gonna buy. And then you find out, oh, you're not really hitting your sales numbers that you wanted to hit. And you're like, gosh, what is happening? People don't buy out here anymore. People do buy. Contracts are moving. I can tell you the invoices are getting paid because I've sent the invoices and they have been paid. Okay, they have been paid well. All right, but you need to have depth. Without depth, what is a human? Without emotion, without personality, without who you truly are being manifest in the words that you write and the stories that you tell. And yes, it's time consuming. That's why people hire ghostwriters. That's why people have marketing directors, communication strategists that they work with in a VIP day, because a VIP day that is so focused on humanity and communicating to humans, making them feel seen, heard, and understood with the 3 emotions they feel before and after working with you, articulated in the way they can understand. It can produce your next 6 figures. It can produce your next million. But you first have to believe that humans are worth it. You first have to believe that storytelling and communication strategy is top tier, second to none. Nothing comes before the way that you communicate with other people. Nothing comes before that. It's what separates good salespeople from bad salespeople, good businesses from bad businesses. It's what's going to separate the people who make it in 2030 and the people who don't. There are going to be a lot of companies that go out of business. We've already been seeing it. And it is because one chose humanity and storytelling and emotions and really doing the hard work, because it is difficult to sit and analyze day after day and understand somebody's needs. But once you put in that work, you're unstoppable. You're unbeatable. You open yourself to Fortune 500 contracts. You open yourself to stuff that you never would have even dreamed of just because you tell good stories. Just because you make people feel interested, just because somebody wants to hear your experience with the written word. It's not enough to do it with video. It's not enough, because people don't always purchase through just a video. People purchase through the incubated space of writing, of seeing your thought process and your philosophy written out. And if you cannot write that out, you may want to hire a marketing director sooner rather than later. Now, that's it for this video. Visit www.tiffygwrites.ai to learn how to be a better storyteller and to make your next 6 figures or your next million, depending on what your business is doing right now. And I'll see you in the next video.